everyone knows that you really don't make pictures by yourself, and I accept this tonight on behalf of my friends, people that influenced my life, influenced this movie.
After decades of fame, heartbreak, cinematic triumphs, and very public personal struggles, Kevin Costner, the Hollywood icon known for roles that defined generations in Dances with Wolves, The Bodyguard, and Yellowstone, has finally stepped into a new season of life, marked not by red carpets or paparazzi flashes, but by the quiet, steady warmth of love rediscovered. And for a man who once embodied the American cowboy, the protective lover, and the rugged father figure all in one frame, this love feels different, deeper, less about spectacle, and more about shared glances and silence, about walking side by side without explanation. And to fully understand the weight and wonder of this moment, one must first walk the road Costner traveled, filled with award shows, accolades, fractured romances, dramatic divorces, and the endless tug-of-war between private longing and public life. Because from the moment he became a household name, in the late 1980s, Kevin's face graced posters, movie trailers, and headlines alike, with fans and critics scrutinizing not just his work, but the women he loved, the marriages he fought for, and the affairs that tabloid culture feasted on. And despite the enormous charm and charisma that made him a sex symbol, it was clear Kevin was not immune to emotional missteps, having married his college sweetheart, Cindy Silva, only to watch that 15-year union dissolve under the pressure of career demands, alleged infidelities, and the weight of balancing a family with Hollywood's relentless pace. And though that divorce cost him millions, it cost him even more emotionally. Because Cindy had been by his side when he was just a dreamer, not yet the Oscar-winning actor, not yet the multimillionaire, but simply a young man with ambition in his heart and nothing yet to prove. And after their split, Kevin embarked on a path that seemed to blur romance and restlessness, dating a string of women that included models, actresses, and even a few high-profile surprises, all while managing a growing number of children from different relationships. And while many admired his devotion to fatherhood on scene at his children's sporting events, school plays, and family vacations, quietly wondered if the man who portrayed so much love on screen was chasing something elusive off it, perhaps trying to reclaim the stability he once lost, or heal a wound that success alone could not mend. And then came Christine Baumgartner, the beautiful handbag designer who entered his life in the early 2000s and offered a kind of peace he hadn't known in years. And though their relationship was not without challenges, including an initial breakup when Kevin admitted he wasn't ready for marriage again, they eventually tied the knot in a picturesque Aspen ceremony in 2004, and for nearly 2 decades, they seemed like a Hollywood rarity, a long-lasting couple who defied the odds, building a life on shared dreams, ranch retreats, and raising 3 children together. And yet even that union couldn't weather the storm forever, because in 2023, news broke that Christine had filed for divorce, citing irreconcilable differences, and once again, Kevin's personal life became fodder for headlines, with rumors swirling about what had caused the split. Was it his filming schedule on Yellowstone, creative differences, or just the wear and tear of time? And amid the speculation, Kevin remained characteristically silent, issuing respectful statements focused on protecting his children and prioritizing healing. And while he continued working, directing, and producing, it was clear to those closest to him that this breakup hit harder than the rest, not because of money or fame, but because Kevin had truly believed Christine was his final chapter. And so, in the months that followed, he retreated somewhat from the public eye, choosing instead to spend time at his Colorado ranch, reconnect with his adult children, and lean into music and other of his lifelong passions with his band, Modern West End, as he strummed guitar strings by the fire, shared stories with friends over whiskey, and rode horseback through rolling hills. Something shifted inside him, a quiet recalibration, a reminder that while the world may see him as a leading man, he too needed someone to lean on, to laugh with, and to grow old beside. And that's when love came, not with fireworks, but like a sunrise, slow, certain, and deeply welcome through a woman far removed from Hollywood's hustle, someone who valued authenticity over fame, who wasn't dazzled by his accolades but intrigued by his soul. And though their relationship blossomed privately without fanfare or public declarations, those close to Kevin began to notice the change, the lighter step, the unforced smile, the way he spoke about we instead of I, and perhaps, most telling of all, how he began writing again, not scripts or lyrics, but journal entries and letters, reflections on how love, when found later in life, becomes less about possession and more about presence, about showing up when it matters, about choosing each other every single day. And this woman, whose identity remains largely protected out of mutual respect, shares Kevin's love for the land, for storytelling, for quiet mornings and deep conversations. And together they've built a rhythm that feels sustainable, rooted in friendship, trust, and mutual admiration. And while they've been spotted, occasionally at farmers markets, charity galas, and small-town coffee shops, it's clear they've made a conscious decision to keep their love grounded, away from the glare. And those who've seen them together say it's not just about romance, but partnership, a deep companionship forged from lessons learned, scars earned, and hopes reborn. And now, at this stage of his life, Kevin Costner appears more at peace than ever, not because his life is perfect, but because he's finally stopped chasing perfection, choosing instead to embrace the messy, beautiful reality of shared life, shared laughter, and shared healing. And in interviews, when asked about the future, he no longer speaks only of roles or projects, but of balance, of legacy, of making room for what truly matters. And though he may still play heroes on screen, off-screen, he's become something more powerful. A man who understands that true love isn't about grand gestures, but about quiet consistency, about being seen and accepted, flaws and all. And as the world watches this new chapter unfold, some in curiosity, others in admiration, there's a collective sense of hope that maybe, just maybe, one of Hollywood's most enduring stars has finally found his home, not in mansions or movie sets, but in the heart of someone who loves him, not for who he was, but for who he is now. And that, after everything, the affairs, the dating, the divorces, a love story worth celebrating.